my name is Charlotte Jones, and today I will be presenting my mini exam video 1 on the second prompt. I will be doing my pedigree based off of the show Shameless. A common theme within the show is figuring out each of the siblings' true parents. So for my video, I will be making a pedigree of their family based on the genetic trait of red hair. This is a pedigree illustrating the family tree within the show Shameless. Now let's look at this pedigree into more detail. We are going to be looking at 5 modes of inheritance. X-linked means that the trait in question is located on the X chromosome. Y-linked means that the trait we're looking at is located on the Y chromosome, and autosomal, either recessive or autosomal dominant, means that the trait in question is located on a non-sex chromosome. Dominant means that a single copy of the disease associated with that mutation, aka red hair, is enough to show the trait. Recessive means that 2 copies of that gene have to be present in order for that trait to show. So, like I said, we're looking at red hair. It cannot be X-linked recessive because Frank would have had to have a recessive R attached to his X chromosome to pass it down to Debbie. But if he were recessive, he would have also been a redhead, which he is not. It cannot be X-linked dominant because Monica would have had to have 2 recessive alleles attached to both of her X chromosomes to not be a redhead, and therefore Ian would not have received that dominant allele from Monica in order to show the trait because she doesn't have it. It cannot be autosomal dominant because both of Ian's parents must be heterozygous in order to pass down the 2 recessive alleles, resulting in Ian showing the trait for red hair. And it also cannot be Y-linked because Debbie has the trait and she is a female, so she does not have a Y chromosome. The mode of inheritance that is consistent throughout the pedigree is autosomal recessive, as shown attached. To introduce a new theme, we're going to say that Debbie had another relationship around the same time that Francis was conceived. So we're going to be figuring out who is Francis's father. And in order to do that, we'll have to take a step back and look at the pedigrees of each individual, of Derek's family tree and our introduced individual. We're going to name him Phil. We're going to look at his pedigree and see if any of his family members have the red hair allele to figure out who Francis's father is. So here I have both pedigrees of Phil's family and Derek's family. If you look at Phil's family history, you can see that there are no shaded in individuals showing the autosomal recessive trait for red hair, whereas on Derek's family side, his grandmother is shaded in showing the recessive trait for red hair. Therefore, we can conclude that Derek is in fact the father of Francis's child. This is what's really interesting about looking at traits that show through pedigrees. You can look back at each individual and see who has what trait and even figure out if someone is related to another by focusing on one specific trait. And that will conclude my genetics mini exam 1 video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching.